welder's house. When you're studying welding, you probably get stuck on TIG welding at least once, right? FCAW, this, tungsten, that. Whew, it's honestly pretty boring when you just read it in text. So today, I'm going to sit next to you and explain TIG welding in a very simple, casual way, like we're just having a chat. First, let's talk about what TIG welding actually is. In most arc welding processes, the electrode melts and becomes part of the weld, right? But TIG is a bit different. It's like saying, I'm not melting. I'm just here to provide heat. It's similar to using a gas torch to roast marshmallows while camping. You're just directing the flame. The flame comes from a tungsten electrode, and the filler wire is added separately by hand. That's why it's called a non-consumable process. It doesn't melt itself, it just holds on. Pretty stubborn, right? Now, let's break down the torch that shoots out the arc. Don't overthink it. Just imagine you're assembling a precision mechanical pencil. The tungsten rod is the pencil lead. The collet chuck that holds it tightly is like the pencil's front grip. And that pink ceramic nozzle on the outside, that's very important. It acts like a fence, keeping the expensive shielding gas from escaping. When that fence is solid, the gas gathers properly around the weld area, preventing oxidation and producing a smooth finish. How far should I stick out the lead? How wide should I make the fence? That's what torch assembly is all about. Not as complicated as it sounds, right? Depending on the situation, you can change the tungsten and the nozzle. On site, you'll notice different colors painted on the ends of tungsten electrodes. They're not just for decoration, they represent different special abilities for different situations. Red, this is the damage dealer character that welders love the most. It produces a very strong, stable arc. But when you grind it to a sharp point, the dust is extremely harmful, so always wear a mask. Green, this one is mainly used for aluminum, blue or gold. Nowadays, many people use these instead of red because they're safer. It's like they're saying, I've got great performance and safer for your health. This part often appears on exams, but once you understand it, it's really simple. Depending on where you connect positive and negative, the heat concentration changes. So, when exactly should we use DCEN? It's very simple. Think of it as almost everything except aluminum. For common carbon steel or stainless steel, like what's used in kitchen equipment, you use DCEN because DCEN directs about 70% of the heat into the base metal. That means deeper, more effective penetration. The arc is stable and smooth, almost like writing calligraphy with a brush. But remember, when dealing with tough aluminum oxide layers, DCEN struggles a bit. DCEP, in this case, most of the heat goes to the tungsten, which means the tungsten could overheat or melt, so it's not commonly used. Except for one case, welding aluminum, because the electrical action works like a pressure washer, blasting off the tough oxide layer on aluminum. This is called the cleaning action. So, we've taken a full lap around TIG welding theory today. How was it? Theory is just a map to help you understand. So that's why the arc looks like this right now. Don't overcomplicate it. Once you understand the principles, the rest is up to your hands and your feel. If today's content helped you, feel free to take a look at the book I wrote as well. Next time, I'll be back with even more interesting welding stories.